What's up, Madden fans? ZFarls here for This Week in Madden Show 92. As always, brought my co-host SGibs into the house. What's up, Gibbs?
Not much, Farls. How's it going?
Not too much. Now, we are ready to take your mailbag questions live. You can hit us up on Twitter, at Madden Bible, at Madden Tips, at SGibs7. Use the hashtag TWIM92. That'll get your questions live. We got a loaded up mailbag, though, tonight. We're chatting live here on twitch.tv/Madden Tips. So come and join the chat, hang out. We got a special discount code for you tonight. We got 20% off the winner's kit. So if you're into that, if you're looking to get a little bit better with some defensive setups, actually get a lot better right away. We got some new stuff coming out next week if you've already bought the winner's kit. So you'll be treated to guides all season long, 6 total. Pretty nice stuff there. So use that discount code TWIM and get yourself a nice little guide. We're going to jump into some in-game action here, so we'll take a look at our first mailbag question tonight. Gibbs, you excited?
I am excited. Get this mailbag questions, get them rolling here.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at the first mailbag question. Can you actually read it over there for us?
Yeah, we're gonna need the new tech guy to read it here tonight.
And a special new third voice.
All right, this question's coming in from him B Moore. Can the 3-4 defense generate consistent pressure as a base D?
You know, I think it can, Farls. There's a couple of things that you can do this year from 3-4 that make it effective. We talked last week about it, and we showed that blitz from last week, and that's something that you're going to be able to build on a little bit more this year. 3-4 is definitely something that's effective. Years past, we've talked about things like sting pinch zone, why it's good because the yellows have a good base from that formation.
Yep.
Send 6, trying to get 2 free from that formation. But 3-4
really
can be good.
The key when you're blitzing is to try and have one blitz that you can send from either edge with different coverages. You need that from every formation, but the idea is to get 6 rushers sent and get 2 guys free. That way, if they block a halfback on 3rd and long, you're sending 6. 2 are going to get free. 1 guy's going to get blocked by the halfback, but 1 guy's still going to come free. They got to dump the ball, and you can do that. So I think we have a setup here over on Xbox.
Yeah, the setup is going to have to come from over here on this Xbox over here.
All right, so we got San Francisco 49ers on defense, probably the best team in the game.
You take offense. And I will take defense.
Sounds good.
And the thing with it is, this is going to be a universal tip that we're going to show you. But overall, it's a defensive tip that I think overall is going to be pretty effective for most people. So we'll go ahead and we'll show you a tip here. We can't actually run the setup live because it is something that we're going to have to share. So if you bring the camera back to us, so that we can show you what it looks like at least. So we'll run the setup here. And Falls, I want you to snap the ball. Are you running? You passing? What are you doing here?
I'm passing the ball right now.
All right.
I have
so as you can
2 guys
see,
free.
2 guys free.
So you can take that in instant replay?
You can take that instant replay. We don't want to talk about the setups, but we can show you at least what it looks like. So 2 guys free from a 3-4 set, and you're able to see we isolate that center. We were able to bring the pressure. We didn't adjust the coverage behind it, but you can see that 3-4 is going to be a very effective formation in this year's game, especially if you can get that 6-man, 2 guys free setup.
So question answered. The answer is yes. The question was, can the 3-4 be a base defense that can generate consistent pressure? The answer is yes, as we've passed that test. And now the question is, how can you get that? And that is going to be in the winner's kit coming up. So you want to check that out. Once again, we got that code. So if we just get the TV turned on right here, it's like a power button there. TV shut off.
Did the TV shut off? I'm not sure if it did. I think it's on.
Okay, maybe it's on, but
yeah.
We'll see what's happening here. Working out all the magic here. We got a big game of the week coming up tonight, and it's going to be online team play. So me and Gibbs are actually going to team up against my will. Absolute fact.
Yes.
I don't really want to play with SGibs. He's not a very good, friend to play with. He's very selfish with the football. But
False.
I'm hoping that he can put his ego aside.
False.
And false, you can't put your ego aside?
No, I'm a great teammate. It's true.
I see.
Yeah, I'm a great teammate, and we're teaming up with EA Sports Game Changer, QJ Beat. You can check out his YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/QJ Beat. I'll put that in the channel in the chat, and we're going to be playing against the Mole.
The Mole made himself a legend in Madden 11 online team play. Hate Wolfman, so that's going to be fun to beat.
And Steven the Beast.
And I like to beat Steven the Beast because he's friends with Wolfman. So
there you go.
Pretty easy. But we'll chop in and take a look at our next mailbag question here. We'll probably have
Tech Guy's gonna have to just read it.
We'll go voice of God, Tech Guy.
Yeah, Tech Guy just being voice of God tonight. It's all right.
From R. Kwiatinski, Is calling coverage defense and mixing in a blitz every few downs still a winning formula?
So as we know, we like to play some different coverage style defenses. Give an example of a coverage style defense for somebody that's newer to the game here. Basically, any time that your opponent's passing the ball early in the game, I like to go with the coverage style defense. And what I do is I call 2-man under, and I pretty much just look to guard the halfback. So, I'll go with something easy. I'll drop back 1 or 2 of my defensive ends. If it's a mobile quarterback, anybody with above 75 speed, I'll always usually put one of those guys in a spy. And then I'll do a mix of purples. I'll do a mix of yellows. If they're hitting me with corner routes, I'll go purples. If they're hitting me with, slants over the middle, I'll go with yellows. So, it really is, not an aggressive defense when you go coverage, obviously, but you're going to be dropping maybe 9 guys, and then you're just going to let 1 or 2 guys rush in there and see how it goes. So here, as you can see, guys are dropping back. I see a rush coming in from my right. Yes, it eventually gets there.
And that's where you can get burned by coverage defense.
So that is where you can get burned, which is why you need to mix it up with a blitz every now and then, which you make it look a little bit like coverage defense. So you might send somebody off the edge.
And then this would be a coverage defense from a zone. You'd play cover 4. Same style defense. You drop everyone. You're going to rush 2 guys. Typically, if I'm going to play coverage defense, I like to rush at least 2. I think this year, more so than any other year in Madden's past, coverage, you can't really get away with coverage defense too well. I've been burned a lot of times by it, so I really like to at least rush 2 guys. I think they're going to get in there well. If you're setting consistent pressure, consistent heat, then I think that you can get away every once in a while running a setup where you're only rushing 2. And guys, this is a game where I think that you want to definitely play more of a coverage blitz. Then coverage, blitz, more than blitz, coverage. And I think that's how the game is playing out. I know a lot of guys have been having a tough time on defense, but I think if we change our mindset of blitz, I think you might start having a little more success.
So that's what's pretty important is, yes, it's always a winning formula. And the key to the winning formula is in that person's question, Ryan Q. The key to that question is, is it a winning formula if I mix up my defense? Yes, it's always a winning formula if you're mixing up your defense, calling different looks, mixing in coverage, mixing in blitz, because eventually they're gonna think that you're gonna go coverage again. You're gonna blitz them. They're gonna be more patient, and then you're gonna seek the heat in there. So, yes, if you mix up your defense from man to zone, you're gonna have a winning formula because you're gonna keep your opponent on their heels. If you keep calling coverage defense all game long, they're gonna get patient in the pocket. They're gonna playmaker. They're gonna scramble against you, and it's not gonna be a winning formula. But if you're mixing in the blitz and you're really keeping them guessing, it's a winning formula. So let's take a look at our next mailbag question. Tech Guy, cue the music.
From Darth Lemon, how to stop slants in Madden 25?
Farls, this is your tip, I think. You're the master at this one. You've been getting hit by slants a lot, I've heard.
I'm going to back out here, and we're going to go take a look. You grab just your favorite quick slants play. Obviously, you can make slants. In my opinion, people, are quick slants from the play quick slants better than quick slants the hot route?
I think so.
I say yes. You can call me crazy, but I think if you call the play quick slants or something like that, it's better than if you hot route guys. So I
agree. I 1,000% agree with you.
So I'm going to go like a formation like single back ace, which is one of my favorite formations here. And I'm going to look to see, I know I have curl flats here, but I have the play quick slants as well. And then, so I go with a 2-man under, as I mentioned, pretty standard. And what I like to do is to the open side of the field, so that would be over here a little bit more, I'll drop this gentleman into a yellow zone.
This gentleman?
Yes. And then, as I said, I'll guard the halfback. So I'm kind of looking here. If I know they're calling a lot of quick slants, this is kind of my base D. And the real key is I'll just work the middle of the field. But one of the big keys for me is knowing the other routes that come with slants. Because I'm looking at the tight end at the snap of the ball, and I can tell by the release that the wide receiver gets off the line of scrimmage immediately if it's going to be a slant or if it's going to be like an out. My brain just kind of knows. So you want to make sure that when you see, if you're going to get the press, you know that he's eventually going to run a slant because he's trying to get the inside release. If he's trying to run it out, he's not going to run that type of thing at the start. So I always make sure that I'm looking, especially against players that like to not use custom playbooks and they like to audible to the stock plays. So if they're running, but then they use the little quick audible to get to a play like quick slants, I know the release that they're looking to get, and I'm ready to jump that slant over the middle of the field.
Right.
The turret throw a lot of times.
And Farls, I'm going to tell you a great way an easy tip that you're going to have success right away with slowing down slants is if you just play two-man under or press coverage. Because if you get this animation where the press occurs and the wide receiver's chucked outside, good luck throwing that slant.
Yeah, because yes, they're eventually going to come back in, but you're going to trail.
He's inside.
And also, what's going to happen is that was 2.5 seconds right there. You
Took
should
too
have
long.
some pressure coming in.
Opposed to the opposite side. Now, opposite side, you can see here, he gets inside. And now this is where that slant now becomes effective. So if you play press coverage, you're going to have it's kind of a dice roll, depending on your guy's rating.
Yeah.
It's a dice roll of, okay, is he going to get inside position or not? And if he does get inside position, you're going to be there with a user, or you have your other hook zone there to try and stop it.
If you call two-man under, you don't need to actually call press. They'll get up and play physical because they're playing trail coverage. So that's what's good about two-man under, and that's why I use it as pretty much my stock. And I just like to kind of try and catch them with the yellow every now and then, try and catch them maybe with a QB spy on the side that I think they're going to. Obviously, the better receiver is going to get more open against.
And the other thing I would say too, guys, is if you shade coverage inside, I think that is something that can help as well. Especially from two-man under, you get better results from a shade coverage in two-man under than you do if you're in a regular stock man-to-man.
To do that, what you do is you bring up the individual coverage audibles, which is going to be the A button. You're going to want to call a man coverage assignment. Well, you man up your guy, but you want to make sure that you use, let's see here, individual adjustments. You hit Y, A, B, the receiver, and then shade inside. So that would be shade left since he's on the right side of the screen. So once again, the coverage, which is Y, then you hit the A, B, shade left. That's going to get you inside. If they were doing outs, you could shade out.
Right.
So that'll help hopefully get you some inside position and kind of guard. I know Shotmaster, who does a show every Tuesday night, Game Changers Radio, he did a little coverage tutorial on his website. So that's something, if you want to get more into shading, you can check out. But we do recommend shading against outs and shading against slants inside. So pretty good right there. And let's take a look at the next mailbag question.
This comes in from Vic7101. Is the Wildcat effective in Madden 25?
Yeah, the Wildcat is effective in Madden 25.
So if you saw TWIM 91, which is the last show, Gibbs broke out the Wildcat against me. I had no idea that it was even still in the game. I mean, I did know, but I didn't know it was a real thing that he was going to do out. So pretty frustrating there. It's something that can be used. And Gibbs, tell the people a little bit more about the Wildcat, how you found it, when you would use it, why it's good, maybe let him in.
Part of the reason I like the Wildcat is you're really committing your opponent to say, okay, he's going to run. You change the mentality of your opponent. You make them think one thing, which is, I have to try and stop the run, and a lot of times it makes people panic. That's what I found. I've had a lot of success with running the Wildcat in that manner. So I'm a big fan of wrinkling in your playbook if you have it. So in this playbook, we do have the Wildcat. And one play that you can run here, I mean, there's three of them. Now, there's no passing play, so you have to know that going into it, right?
And defensively, I knew that last week.
Right, but but a part of you is afraid, in my opinion, is to overcommit.
And what I did was I brought this guy all the way out here, even though he was blitzing. I tried to do that. I think I even ran commit, and I just tried to keep him outside, and it was, I didn't have Patrick Willis.
Didn't have Patty Willis. He's a one-man run defense.
It was tough.
Yeah,
you can really use it to test your opponent. Is it cheap? No, because generally people are going to be able to stop it, and it's not going to be something that's going to work every play. But I was a little freaked out when I saw it. I just wasn't expecting to see it. So yes, I felt like I had a good play called stop to kind of to slow it down, but I just got beat. And it just takes one play. I've
hit a lot of home runs running that Wildcat, and guys have seen the videos I put out this week with Mike Wallace, and I went before halftime, just like against you. Or did I go to the end of the game against you? I forget.
More near the end.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But yes, I would say if you have it in your playbook, you should definitely try and wrinkle it in every once in a while. Don't change your playbook for it, all right? It's not something you're going to change your playbook for. It's something that you're going to complement your scheme with.
All right. Tech Guy, hit us with the next mailbag question.
Mike Wallace, what can he do for you?
This is from A Weeks 10. He says, what is the best way to read defensive coverages in Madden 25? Man, zone, cover 2, 3, 4.
So we'll take a look at the other Xbox here. And really, guys, reading defensive coverages is all about looking at the safeties. And this is something that's going to carry over from year to year. You know, last year they did a lot with disguised coverages. I'd personally like to come out in a passing style play.
Right.
I think that coming out in a passing play is huge. So as we can see here.
Come out in the shotgun normal.
Okay, so I'm going to come out on shotgun normal. This is from my favorite playbook. I like
we're going to switch up the Xbox. Just switch to the other Xbox, and so that way we can get. So we have the.
So when you're looking to read defensive coverages, it's all about coming out in a formation that you're comfortable with. And personally, you're going to always want to go, in my opinion, with something that has a corner route built into it. So I'm going to go with this play Bucks tight end option, just because I feel like it's going to give me every play that I need, and I know that I'm going to have good audibles that are built in around it to allow me to beat any defense that I see. So here I can tell that all 4 guys are back. So it's pretty obvious to me that this is going to be like a cover 4 style coverage.
Correct.
And the reason I know that is because I see the 2 safeties in the middle of the screen are deep, both Spillman and Whitner. And then the cornerbacks, if they were up, it would be more of like a 2-man under or a cover 2. But since they're back, I know that they're in deep zones. And I know that that means cover 4. Cover 4 means that there's 4 zones deep. So if you show it, you'll see the 4 blue zones on the outside. I know that it's going to be cover 4. That's going to give me access to the flats. It's going to give me a little bit of access over the middle of the field. So that's where I'm going to want to attack when I see a cover 4. However, when the next type of coverage comes up, I know that this is going to be a cover 3 because there's only 1 safety in the middle of the field. Spillman is the safety that I'm reading in the middle of the field right now. And once again, the corners are back. I know that they're in deep zones. There's 3 deep zones. I know it's cover 3.
Right. Well, you're not 100% sure it's cover 3. You know of specific defense it could be.
Because it could be cover 1 or cover 3. Because if it was cover 1 man, then those 2 guys would be in man-to-man coverage.
Or cover 0.
Cover 0, yeah. But with cover 0, they're going to tend to line up a little bit more over.
Right.
So that's not a super common situation, but yeah, you do want to look out for that. But that's going to typically be a cover 3. Now the other type of thing you're going to see is cover 2 and 2-man under. So with cover 2 and 2-man under, it's going to look the same, which is what Gibbs was saying here. So this is cover 2 or 2-man under. Show 2-man under. Notice how the position of the defenders is not going to change when you audible to 2-man under. So the defenders are still in the same position. So when I see this coverage, I see 2 safeties high. I see the Spillman, once again, in the top left is going to be in a deep zone. So he's, one reason that I think it's cover 2, and then the Whitner here. So that's how I know. There's 2 safeties high, so I know it's either cover 2 or 2-man under. And all I have to do is determine, are they in zone or are they in man? And you can't really do that until after the snap. Your gut can kind of tell you what they're in. Your gut can give you a good idea of, okay, here's the play they're calling. But how I determine that is I'm going to call 4 verticals. I'm going to audible Lacey to a halfback option. And basically what I'm going to do is look and see if the defenders on the outside follow their man or if they let him go. So give me cover 2. So right now I wouldn't know before the snap, but I just know that it's either cover 2 or cover 2 man. And what I'd do is I'd key in on Nelson or Cobb, and if they get let go by the flat zone, because the flat zone's not going to run with them all the way down the field, I'll know that I can throw it out to the sideline with 4 verticals because I'm running 4 guys deep, and you only have 2 guys deep in a cover 2.
Math, people, math.
Get open. So what I'm looking for at the snap of this ball when it's cover 2 or 2-man under is this guy going to let Nelson go? Yes, he presses him, but then he lets him go. I know that this guy right here is playing half the field because he's in a cover 2, so he's got to split half the field, and there's 2 guys in his area, and I can make that throw.
Correct.
The next thing is if you call 2-man under, it's not going to be as easy because here's the problem. Those guys aren't going to get let go. So once again, we audible with a hot route to Eddie Lacy. We put him on an option route. I like to have him there to bail me out. And then we're going to see is Nelson going to let go or is Cobb going to get let go? They press. Nope, they're running with him. Okay, this guy's on a man-beating route. I'm going to look to him.
Check down.
Once you start to feel what your opponent is playing a lot of, if he starts to play a lot of 2-man under, so call 2-man under again, what you can do is you can mix in some out routes. So you could go with 4 verticals, or you could leave that, remember that corner route here, you can leave that so that you have that. You can put Cobb on an out, then you can put Lacey. So now I have 3 man beating routes on this play if he's playing a lot. I can hit the corner route on the right, I can throw the out, which you can also throw the out against cover 3, and then you can also throw the Lacey route again. You could also put Cobb maybe on something like this. So if that starts to happen, you know what you can do. And there we go with the man-beating route. So you want to mix in man-beating routes. I know Gibbs' next playbook that's coming out in the winner's kit for all you guys that have it is loaded with man-beaters. So if you're having trouble beating 2 man under, we're going to have you all set. But those are some of the things I like to do depending on the plays. And whatever defense you have, you just need to have a formation that allows you to kind of spread it out, take a look, read the safety, get a good idea, and then have a play in mind to beat it. So here, if it's cover 3, I'd probably go with a concept like curl flats, which you can pretty much make a lot of good concepts by just using the hot route. So if you take a little bit of time and learn those using the skill trainer, it's pretty easy to figure out, what plays are going to beat it. That's why we spend a lot of time in practice mode making sure that we have a play in each formation or each playbook for every defense in the game.
All right, and guys, one thing I want to note here about when you're reading the defensive coverage is that this is not a perfect system because your opponent can do things to disguise things. This is the starting point of how you're going to read defense. But what we always talk, we say base align. So if your opponent does a Y coverage, and then right on the D-pad, you're going to get a base align. And what that's going to do is now my defense looks the same no matter what type of play I'm in. So you might read this and be like, oh, he's definitely in cover 4. Boom, I'm in a cover 3 because I've base aligned. Just note that, one small thing I'll tell you that you can recognize that they did base align is that look at where my corners are. Look where Brown is and look at where Rodgers is. Now, if I go back to that cover 4, not that time, but they actually slide in. See how they're sliding in at the reset? See how they slid out to the near sideline? That's a small tell. And you can especially tell it when you're in press coverage. Because if you do baseline and you're in press coverage and you're in zone, they're inside the receiver more. So that's a small tell that they're in zone coverage is if you see them inside or your outside receivers.
And you'll just start to feel it over time, and you'll know over the course of the game what people are doing. But yeah, that baseline tip is a big one. If they're baselining, they're going to line up a little bit more inside, and then you know that you have zone. So if you see that, then you know what to expect. I mean, you know that he's not going to press your guy because he's lined up inside. Usually when they do have man-to-man and you baseline, they're going to stay out wide right over the receiver. So just a very good note and something that will make that tip of just reading coverages, which is pretty basic and pretty football, is going to make it a little bit more advanced, for the advanced players that really want to keep an eye out and are really paying attention.
Right.
So
valuable tip right there to learn what those coverages are and the cover trees behind it.
So let's take a look in the chat here. Does anybody have any questions? Very important to read the defense before every play. And if you ever call a play and you don't think it's going to work, so if they call a heavy blitz and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I have 4 verticals, this isn't going to work because I can't get the ball out fast enough, audible. Press X and just audible really quick because never hike the ball when you don't think your play is going to work. A lot of people do it. That sounds so stupid, but
kind of a big tip.
That's why in my top 25 playbook I put plays like screens in. I put options in. I have 4 verticals so that I always have a play in any situation. Same thing with cover 2 sync. Cover 2 sync is a version of cover 2. It's still going to be pretty good with 4 verticals. You should still be able to beat it. Here, it just doesn't have the flat zones on the outside, and they'll just drop back and won't press. But you can still hit it in the seam. Good play there by Smith. Had to wait to throw the ball downfield, but good stuff there. So we're hanging out in the chat here on This Week in Madden Show 91.
We're saying hi to Chris Webb in the chat. My man, what's going on? Uncle Jesse in the chat.
We're going to do a quick giveaway. Uncle Jesse's in the chat, and Uncle Jesse has actually earned himself a Prima Pro Pack for Madden Ultimate Team, as well as a playbook. So Uncle Jesse's actually won a playbook of his choice from MaddenTips.com. He is the #2 player in the community right now, behind Anarvin on Xbox. So Uncle Jesse, you get to choose either Problems Pistol Playbook, along with his 46 Defensive Bear 2.0, or you can choose mine and SGibs book. So that's your choice. Anarvin, you actually are going to win a shirt. So
Anarvin's winning a shirt.
Not this shirt exactly, but it is an EA Sports Madden NFL 25 shirt, similar to the ones that SGibs is wearing. So Anarvin, you get that. You're #1 in the Xbox community. And just to help somebody out,
we also have ATL Killer. Well, actually, Chiefs Fence is #3, but he's not winning anything.
Chief gets nothing.
Chief gets nothing.
Like it. We're going to give away a Madden Ultimate Team Pro Pack to ATL Killer. He's #4. And since we need to help out the people here that are struggling, you don't just win prizes in the Madden Tips Online community by playing a lot of games and winning. You also can get it by playing a lot of games and losing. You're the people that need to help the most. And the person with the most losses in the Madden Tips community right now
is Wolf.
Is Wolfman.
Well, we're not giving him anything either.
You don't even get anything for that. No. But the person in front of you does. He also has 10 losses. It's Gordo Dat Truth. he wins himself a pro pack as well for Madden Ultimate Team, and that's going to be something. So
email us.
If you just play games, that's what you can do. But we'll set you guys up. And we're playing a lot of games in the community. Next week, we're going to be doing giveaways for the PS3 community. So if you're playing in the PS3 community, make sure to get games. Make sure when we go to play tonight, you get games in the community as well, because it's a lot of fun. And it's great competition. No blocking extra points or field goals. No onside kicks till the fourth quarter, and you got to be losing, and no quitting. If you follow those 3 things, we're going to have continue to have a great community. We had it all last year, and you'll be given some great prizes too. So let's take a look here at our next mailbag question coming in from Tech Guy.
This is coming in from Big Slow 17. What are some key depth chart adjustments to make?
Big Slow, big time question from Big Slow. This is we actually highlighted this in our newsletter that went out to people that are subscribed to our email list, and this is a tip I think that not a lot of people do, and I think it's something that can benefit your defense, especially if you're playing heavy blitzing defense. So what I would recommend here is it could be any formation. It doesn't matter what the formation is. It just matters that it's the formation that you blitz out of. So when we check out the Xbox here, you're going to want to go to the let's take a play, just say like cover 2. I mean, we're not blitzing from this, but we're going to pick cover 2. Farls, pick your whatever offensive formation you want. And the tip here would be you want to set your defense up. So say this is my blitz, right? I'm blitzing these 2 guys and crazy pressure, right? Well, I'm going to set my defense up so that Rodgers right here in the flat, that's guarding the flat, is going to be a guy by the name of Eric Reed, who has 93 hit power. So that he's going to always be playing that short flat over on the right side of the field. Or say my defense is set up on the left side of the field. I'm going to put my heavy hitters, my big time hit power guys. So Dante Whitner and Eric Reed in the secondary. Rather than have them play deep into coverage, I want them playing in the short side of the field where they're going to get a lot of hit sticks on guys in the flat. So you're going to set yourself up to have more success with hit sticks and fumbles because they're going to be the guys that are going to be coming in onto the offensive players.
Set them up. How do you set them up in the depth chart?
2 different ways you could go do that. You would go into, if you wanted to do it manually, you could do it from this main menu here. You would just hit RB, go over to the defender, which would be Carlos Rogers here, and you would sub in Eric Reed this way.
Yep.
Or you could go to your depth chart behind the scenes.
I think the key is the RB sub because you want them in there.
Correct.
For the bulk of the game.
That's definitely the key. Yeah. But one thing you could do if you wanted to set this up all the time, you would just go to your number 1, number 2 corner, and you would put Eric Reed there. And again, remember, we're not looking to play man coverage here. We're playing heavy, aggressive blitzing defense where we want to cover those short flats, and we want the guy that's going to deliver the boom. And this is the guy that will. 93 hit power. And what you're going to start seeing that your defense is going to start getting is more hit stick fumbles, more turnovers for your defense. And I think that's something that's kind of like a top secret that we have the upper echelon of Madden pros. That's something that they've been doing.
I like that a lot. I've been doing that with my Madden Ultimate Team. So what I do is, I have a couple extra safeties that I've got. I got a LaRon Landry and a Deshaun Goldson card. So yes, I want them in coverage for most plays, but if it's a run defense, what I'll do is put them down at the corner position in my 4-3, which is my run defense. Mostly against the pass, I'm going to play nickel, so I don't touch the nickel. I leave that as it is, so they're playing back. But in the 4-3, I'm going to put them out at corner, and I know, okay, if I think they're going to run, this is the formation I go with, and I drop a safety like McCourty back, doesn't quite have the hammer. A guy like Dante Robinson has really good hit power for a cornerback, so he's a guy maybe you want to put in. I take Cromartie out of the game, who doesn't have great tackling. I move them in, and it's really good to have those guys in the flat out there as a threat. So, good question there, and a nice depth chart tip from SGibs. Let's take a look at our next mailbag question here.
This one's coming in from the Druid. Should I abandon my heavy pass tendency to become a run first style player for Madden 25?
Well, the Druid, here's your question. So you're asking, in years past, you really like to pass the ball, and you're really looking to run the ball this year. You know that the run-free system is working out pretty well for people if you run the ball and you commit to a ground and pound game. Not only can you slow down the game, reduce your turnovers, but you can pretty much run for touchdowns pretty well if you have a good back and you follow your blocks. That's up to you. You asked also, I think, if you expect to see a big tournament later where people have more comfortable reads in their passing game, be more pass heavy than it is right now. I would say yes. I think the game always evolves to passing once people get their schemes down. So I feel like the game always starts out a little run heavy, especially this year, and then it'll slowly morph to about more 50-50 in the middle of the year, and then for the tournaments, it'll be 70-30 run pass again. So I don't think you abandon your pass game, but I think you do, really want to make sure that you are running the ball in the proper situation, not be passing just to pass it,
I am going to say absolutely not. And here's why. What's the easiest thing to do in this year's game?
Run the ball.
Run the ball. If that's the easiest thing to do, you should probably spend the least amount of time working on that, right? So work on that pass offense because you can fall back on their running offense and you're still going to have success. So I would say the flip of that, we know that running the ball is very effective in this year's game. They did a great job at making running the ball better in this year's game, and it absolutely is. So spend less time working on running the ball and finding a scheme because you can just go out, pick your formation, have a run left, run right, maybe even a run read option, QB wrap, and then you're going to have a great running offense. But you should be working on your pass offense because I completely agree with what Farrell said. As the year develops and as the year goes on, we go to more tournaments and things like that. You're going to want, and you're going to not just want, you're going to need to have that passing offense because come 4th and 15, if you're a runner late in the 4th quarter, you're going to lose.
Oh, I like it. So there is a community on PS3. Question there from Russo Rice, and it's just search Madden tips, and you'll find it on the online community. A lot of good players in there too. Something you want to do right now is we have a giveaway going on in the chat. If you go to goodgamebro.com, they're giving away one of our Madden NFL 25 guides, which you can pick up on Amazon. This is also available as a digital iBook on iTunes, so you can check that out on your little phone. But I like the real thing because it smells good and it's great to read all over the house. Keep it on the coffee table. 350 pages of Madden goodness right there. So let's take a look at the next mailbag question here.
Let's do it.
This one comes from ALC. How do you smart route your wide receiver in Madden 25?
So the smart route is something that's very important. I do it on almost every play with an out route. And so we'll head on back to the Xbox here, the second one. And why I think it's so important is because no matter what the down and distance is, you can always find a route that is going to work and run to your area. So what I'll do is call a play like PA goes, and I'm going to put an out route out there, and I'm going to smart route it. So as you can see, you have a play to Jordy Nelson. I'm going to put it on an out route, which is a hot route. I do it by pressing Y, B, right on the D-pad. I got the out. But if I want to smart route Jordy Nelson, which means he'll run to the first down marker, which is 10 yards in this situation, I can press Y, B. He's already on and out, so if I just click down on RB, boom, he's going to run that route much further on the right side there. So smart route used to be click down on the right stick. However, it's now RB, which mirrors the NCAA football controls. And now Jordy Nelson here should get open. Obviously, the flat's going to drop down, so he could take some time. He stays up high, but he does get in there and picks up some yardage. So another area where I really like the smart route is like 3rd and 20. I'll smart route a curl or smart route an out because he's going to run 20 yards and then do it. It does make the throw a little tougher. You really need to practice timing, but that's up to you. Another thing you can do is, as you can see here, I have Jordy Nelson on a curl. When you're in the red zone, a smart route is going to usually put you right at the goal line.
Do an out. I think you're thinking of an out. If you put through the out, it's going to...
It's taking me to the back of the... Oh, there it is.
There you go.
So I should have canceled the play action, but out will actually sit in the end zone too. Same thing with a hitch. So if you have a hitch route here on the inside in the red zone, which is our trigger to James Jones here.
Randall Cobb.
You can actually smart route it and see. So the standard hitch, which is Y, right trigger, is going to go here. Hey, James Jones, let's get in the end zone. Y, RB. He's going to run it to there, and then what you can do is...
Gives you a better shot trying to get in the end zone.
Take it to the end zone. So
right.
You want to use smart routes to your advantage. There's certain routes that are better when smart routed. You should pretty much try and smart route any route you can find because sometimes it'll turn it into a better route.
Correct.
There's certain little routes that cut at different times that are really going to benefit from smart routes. But generally, it's going to help you out pretty nicely.
Smart routes are wow, that's a nice little cutback by Nelson. But smart routes are something that you need to do. I would say that using smart routes is gonna give you, if you're a beginner player, it's gonna give you an extra 5 wins out of 10 games. Because if you're not doing smart routes and you're a beginner player and you're just starting to play, you're missing out on a ton of first downs. Because I smart route every single out or every single curl, so I get the first down. So if you hot route a guy to an out and it's 3rd and 15 and you complete it,
smart route at 5-yard out.
There's nothing worse than getting hit by a smart routed out.
Yep.
Nothing worse. Nothing worse.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at our next mailbag question here.
All right, this one's coming in from Splashy McSplash. Are squib kicks allowed in community matches this year?
So, as we noted, you can go to the communities section, which is under more modes. You can sign up for the Madden Tips community. It's free. We do prizes. 3 rules. No extra points or field goal blocks. No onside kicks until the 4th quarter, and you're losing. And no quitting. So,
no quitting.
Yes, squibs are allowed. At the beginning of last year, we had to temporarily ban squibs because you could recover them at too high of a rate that was unrealistic, in our opinion, and there's nothing you could really do to stop it. So we said, hey, no squibs right now, but they patched the squibs last year, and then squibs worked totally fine in this year's game. I'd only squib kick personally if there's less than maybe 10 seconds left in a half or at the end of the game. That's the only time I really squib. If I was going to squib because I was nervous that my Devin Hester opponent was going to take his kick back, I would just kick it short. I'd kick regular kick, but I'd kick it up in the air and kick it short. Otherwise, I don't really squib because I feel like you're giving up the 50-yard line if you squib.
You are.
So unless there's not a lot of time left and you're only going to have one play, you want to use it. But yes, you're allowed to squib kick in the online community. Good question, Splashy McSplash.
Good old Splash.
All right, here we go. Next mailbag question coming in.
This one's kind of in from Giant Met Fan 15. Is halfback stretch still your favorite run from Madden NFL 25?
So the halfback stretch in last year's game was one of our favorites because of double team blocks on the edge. So we can actually go, I have it here. I have my new favorite run this year on the Xbox 2 here. So what's very important about the halfback stretch in last year's game was the ability to work with the double team blocks on the edge and really get a nice seal, and then the block would actually kick to the second level and you were all set. So as you see here, Finley and the tackle will go after Finley peels off. Perfect example of why the halfback stretch is a money run in last year's game, and also still in this year's game. It's still a very good run. But I do have a new love. So as you can see here with the halfback stretch, get a double team, boom, he's not going to block shed that double team. Once they're all set with him, Finley's going to peel upfield, take on Patty Willis, and we're going to get to the edge. My new favorite run, though, however, is the ATL zone week. I told you this, guys, last week. If you look at it, it looks very similar to the stretch. And once again, you can flip this run by pressing X and then right trigger. Doesn't even look like I changed the run, but you can flip it pretty easily. You're going to get the same style double team for the most part. Here, Justice Smith makes a great play, ruining my example. But that's totally fine because we can always run it again. That's why we're in practice mode, because we're trying to practice. So here, we get that double team seal. And what I really like about it is Eddie Lacy.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Do you feel like with that run, because I feel that you just have better cutback angles inside with that run?
Eddie Lacy. That is why I like this run, because the handoff doesn't take you quite as wide.
Right.
You still get, look, we got double teams. It's like a double from In-N-Out Burger. Smash, smash 2, smash 3, smash 4. I stumbled. So we got 4 smashes. But here's the thing. So spread your linebackers here.
Sure.
So you can either keep the halfback dive as an audible, which I sometimes do because right now that's what I would run. But we'll run the zone weak. We'll run it flipped here. If they get too aggressive outside, you can cut that run back in. I got lost there because the TV's far away and I have the eyesight of a 100-year-old man.
Dinosaur. He has the eyesight of dinosaurs.
In general, if you spread your LBs one more time, you can cut this run back in a lot easier than the stretch just because the angle of the handoff. So you can really read the user defender. This run does a great job isolating the user defender because if they try and scrape to the edge, you can cut back.
Right.
And if they don't, you can just take it where it's intended to go. So, you can kind of read the play. Boom.
And make plays.
And really make plays. So that's why I like this run. But SGibs has a favorite run in the game this year, and he's going to unveil it here.
My favorite run in the game, do you have it in this playbook or no?
Is it from Gun Heavy?
Yeah, it'd be Gun Heavy. Do you have that in here?
Of course I have
Nope,
Gun
that's
Heavy.
not it. That's not it. That's not the one. Nope, we're going to have to go to the other Xbox. That's okay. Go to the other Xbox. And you can find this, my favorite run in Madden NFL 25. You can find this in the Carolina playbook. It is from the Gun Heavy Panther, and it's the QB wrap. Now, my favorite run in general is the QB wrap. I think it's probably the most effective and probably the best single run in this year's game. You get crazy blocking. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why I think it's my favorite running play in the game. Farls, hit L trigger for me. So if you play option, play the QB, or play the running back here, I find that with the QB wrap, it's a lot harder for the defense to commit to the halfback because you get better blocking on the outside edges with the QB wrap, opposed to if you're running the option, where the option's more of a sellout if I'm going to give the ball to the halfback or not. So the quarterback QB wrap, I think you get better blocking downfield, and I think that it just the blocking from this formation is like just a brick wall. Right? And I'm telling you right now, you could probably run this against the vast majority of people, and they won't be able to stop you.
So are you thinking you house runs, or are you thinking you can just pick up yards?
I'm going to tell you that you're going to house a lot of runs, and maybe not house, but maybe big gains. And that's what's good about this formation. And you can take it inside, you can take it outside. I mean, this is a dynamic run, and it could be a QB wrap from any formation, but specifically this is my favorite one.
Do you consistently call this run from this formation? When you come out in this formation, are you always calling the QB wrap, or do you mix in, say,
always wrap.
And can you hand off the wrap?
You can hand off the wrap.
So that's a good tip right there. You want to make sure to know that you can hand off the wrap, which is pretty nice. So you have the QB wrap. You can hold down A, which is going to give the ball to the halfback if they're really, shutting it down. Obviously, they're not. It's going to be hard for them to do that, but that's what makes the QB wrap really good.
It's the blocking. Cam Newton fumble, but the blocking on this, it's because you have that wall in front of you. Guys aren't split wide, so it's very hard for the defense. Like Farls, blitz a guy off the outside right edge. Just blitz them out wide.
So this would be, hey, how do you stop the QB wrap? That's what we're saying in the chat. What you would do is, you'd think, hey, I'm going to blitz this guy to the outside so that the QB quarterback's contained.
But what ends up happening a lot of the time is he gets sucked in. And see how my blocker goes right out to him, and it just kind of makes things almost worse.
So what I would recommend doing is not only sticking this guy out wide, blitzing to attract a defender and attract attention. I'd bring in Whitner.
Right.
I'd kind of wait. Remember how we talked about waiting further upfield against a run this season? And then when you go, kind of wait until there's a hole, and then I got to make a play.
Right. But see, that's the problem with it. So what I would tell you, one of the first things that you have to recognize when you see this formation, because you're probably going to start seeing it now, unfortunately, sorry. But you want to take note which side's the halfback on. That's the side that the run is going to. So the hand fake at the snap of the ball is going to confuse you at first, right? But if you can identify that you're facing the Gun Heavy Panther QB wrap and you see that the halfback's on the right, you know the quarterback is running to the right. So you can immediately set your defense up to be in the best position to make a play there. So what I would always say is shift line right, shift linebackers right. I would blitz Whitner. One thing you know from this formation, guys, is there's no passing plays from it,
All right, let's try this right here.
No passing plays. And that worked well.
What I was told to do there from the chat was to go with a quarterback contain. Yes, the guy still got blocked, but perhaps it's doing a little something. And then also pass commit. I don't know about the pass committing, but we'll try it out. I still got to make a play there. The contain's still going to get blocked.
Right.
You're just maybe not going to get faked by the handoff.
Here's something that worked pretty well for me. Farls, you take the offensive stick, I'll take defensive stick. And when I have faced this online, call me crazy, but hey, you know what? I know that there's no passing play in this. I'm going straight punt block, and I know that the ball's going to the right. I know that, right? So what am I going to take my guy out here, and I'm going to try and stop it. Go, run it on me, go. And I missed, but I'm in a position. I'm going to be aggressive here. I know you can't pass. I want your wall to be matched up with my wall, and I want to try and get a guy free into that backfield to try and take you down.
And try the pass commit.
And there you have it.
It's pretty good. You got to if you keep me contained, then it's going to be pretty nice.
Don't be too aggressive with this guy. Don't just run in. You want to try and make the quarterback have to run back up in the middle of the field. But I'm going to tell you, this is what I found. I haven't had a problem stopping this formation when I'm running this. See how I'm staying out wide there, and things get real bad for the quarterback real quick.
So it's aggressive, and you got to be ready if they're going to audible if they do have another formation. But in general, this is pretty much all-out defense that's going to hopefully keep guys contained. I kind of quick snapped you there.
Right.
I like it. It's something to do. It's something to try. A lot of people won't try anything. They'll just complain and say, "Oh, QB wrap."
You know what might be a better?
Do something.
You know what might be better? Well, maybe not. I was going to say punt block zone, but it doesn't matter. They can't pass anyways because if you went punt block zone, they're in zones. But maybe it has a different result on the play. But they should all engage with them anyway. So if you snap the ball, Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing. Actually, did something different happen there? You didn't have a lead blocker that time. Why? Let's run that again. Hold on, let me get my guy up there. All right, go. Yeah. Check that out. On national live internet. Did you see what happened there? You didn't have a lead blocker kicking out to try and get me here. Watch. Watch where the lead blocker goes. He goes up to the middle of the field right there. See him? 69?
Yeah.
He was normally kicking out right to get me before.
Okay.
So maybe pump block zone's the D.
Could be possible.
And look, you don't want to give the ball to the halfback.
Nope.
You're going to get your lunch ate. All right.
There you go. That's why you do this stuff on national live internet. Right?
National live internet.
All right, here we go.
The interwebs.
Tech guy, juice us up with the next mailbag question here.
This one's coming in from EpicPwneboy2000. What are some tips when making a custom playbook? Are custom playbooks frowned upon?
So with custom playbooks, this is a topic that we're debating right now in the chat. Give us a 1 if you like custom playbooks in the community, but give us a 2 if you don't like custom playbooks in the community. Obviously this season, when you set some audibles up, it's going to make you be a custom playbook. So we feel like, hey, you got to have custom playbooks. That's how the game is. I got a lot of people here with 1s that are saying that it's cool. I see a couple 2s.
See a 3. Just a rogue 3.
For the most part, you need... Yeah, people are liking custom playbooks. I mean, if the game is going to say, hey, in my opinion, if the game's saying, hey, when you set your audibles, it's going to make you have a custom playbook, then that's what you can go with. And it's not like we're saying you have to use one. It's just saying, why not give people the option? Yes, I understand people can then put random formations in it, but if you don't think that the Broncos coming out in the pistol formation the other night is a big deal, that's not in their playbook, but you could add that to your custom playbook because, hey, things change, times change, people change, and you need to be ready for the change. A lot of 1s coming out.
Here's the thing. We didn't use custom playbooks last year because it was just difficult to do it, right? So now it's easy. So if you want to use custom playbooks, go nuts, go crazy. I use a custom playbook right now, and I enjoy it. I haven't added other formations to my playbook, but you can if you want. And guys that don't like custom playbooks, don't use it. You don't have to.
That's perfect. So I don't use custom playbooks because of Madden Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
So I just run pretty much stock. And I'm doing fine, but I do like when I go back and I have my top 25 playbook on the Madden Share. Like I love to use it because I know I have my exact audibles that I want set up. So that's why I say we go with the custom playbooks. Right now, the tournament scene, as far as you need to see what the rules are at your individual tournament right now. So I know there's a tournament coming up this Saturday in New Jersey. Compete Forever. That's Coach K's site. He's a game changer. You can do that, but that really depends on the tournament. So
well, the tournaments at using custom playbooks at tournaments, you're just going to be able to set your audibles. So yes, you're going to have the ability to set. In theory, you're going to have a custom playbook because you're going to set your audibles in game. So I don't see why you wouldn't do it online. I mean, other than I don't know. You should do it. Definitely.
So it seems like. Also, Barnes runs tournaments in Connecticut on Saturdays, so check that out, Barnes873. Maybe you can make a forum topic later that will help him. So that is a good question. It's a debate we've been having in the Madden Tips forums, but it looks like we're going to keep them open for now, the ability to use the custom playbooks. Let's take a look at the next mailbag question here.
This one comes in from BJK795. How do you user catch in Madden 25? What are the best routes to use?
So if we go back here to the second Xbox, I'm going to choose a play that I like to user catch on. And, I mean, user catching is a general term. Guys want to try and make the best catches possible. I click on, if you're talking about clicking on and making a catch, I click on to every single throw. Basically 99% of throws that I throw with my quarterback, I'm going to click onto the receiver and catch it myself. I feel like you get a nice little bonus for going to catch it yourself, and I feel like it's going to help you hang into more passes. You can go for a good animation. Hopefully, never trust the computer when you can do it yourself. Is my thought. I like to be part of the game. I like to click on and make plays. So, one thing I'll do is if I'm going to a route to like Boykin, I can throw it with a flatter pass lead, so I can throw it more down and left. And what that's going to do is give me a bigger window to catch it, and then I go click on and kind of cut it off. That way, if you're going to throw that route and it's covered, and you throw it down like that, you give yourself a less of a chance to get it intercepted. So I click on and I run down. And something I like to do is go into instant replay and see, hey, When did I click on to that user catch? Because you'll see here the circle will light up blue when I click on. So boom, that's where I clicked on. And that's right when the pass lead started to change, and that kind of sprang me into the catch. So yes, I lost a couple yards because it would have kept going towards the sideline, but I didn't put the throw at risk to get intercepted. So I like to do that. Another thing I like to do is go with like a wide formation against cover threes, against deep zones and stuff. And what I'll do is try and throw an inside pass lead to Cobb here. So, this is something you have to work on. I prescribe as a doctor, I prescribe 100 user catches before bed every night. So I'll say, call this play to Cobb against this defense 100 times. So when you see it, you can know if you can throw it. So just kind of snap it, go back to Rodgers, throw it inside, click on, make a catch. And that's something that you're going to want to practice as well. You can user catch these streaks. It's a little bit difficult, but
Dr. Farls.
But the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And I think that this year you can user catch a little bit better than you could last year. The inside pass lead is as much. I mean, here the defender's already inside of us a little bit. So, but he's dropping back. Once again, where do we click on? So I threw this ball from the 38. Looks like I threw it after 12 yards. Clicked on, and I ran about 3 more yards. So clicked in, cut it off, held down. You always hold down the catch button as soon as you click on, because that's going to open up a full catch window. But I like to do that from some of these wide formations here. I'll try it to the right side. You want to try it with different receivers. You want to try it with different route combos. You want to mix it in and try it at different times. Here I threw it a little bit earlier to Nelson, and I was able to actually get in and keep running after the catch. So
right.
Very important here to mix it up. And I know another route that people really like to use are the comeback routes.
Yeah, comeback routes. I was just going to say that something that I think that people have been using, especially because it gets a free release. So if you play like a two-man under and you put a guy on a comeback route on the outside, so there's wiggle room for you to click on and make a catch here.
So
not with
obviously
play action.
You cancel the play action there. But these comeback routes on the outside, see the release is a little bit, the streak just goes straight, but the comeback route is at an angle, so that's going to slow your guy down a little bit, so you should have maybe more control of them. And, you throw this, there's a lot of different times you can throw this, but there's a couple different things you can do.
It's pretty difficult. This is more advanced tips. So guys in the chat like Frowned and DJ206 who were saying that they were looking for something more advanced. This is probably definitely more of an advanced tip for guys like you that have great user control that can make these type of plays. This is very difficult to do, and you really have to have precise timing. Otherwise, you're going to miss.
Yes, and thankfully the press won't throw off your coverage because you're going to get a free release. But there we click on, go up, make a play. And then the last thing, I'll still do this on comeback routes, but I'll wait until it's actually turning. It's kind of high risk. When I'm in season and I'm throwing a lot of these, I can get it 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. But I don't know. It really depends on what team you're playing with.
The comeback. Yeah, there you go.
So I throw that comeback route. I can get that, so I can actually jump up, kind of the old school style catch. But once again, it's just not consistent enough. Where is it worth doing? Yeah, it's worth it in a pinch. So here we click on. And depending on where the throw is, here the throw is inside, but sometimes it goes over. And I'm basically cutting on a dime and able to turn and catch. So I practiced that. I threw 1,000 of those before this game came out. I worked on it. a lot.
Yeah, you did actually. You was doing it with Calvin Johnson from Singleback Ace.
For a long time.
Frustrating. I will also tell you that there's tender spots on the field that you want to look for when you're user catching, and one of them was where Falls was showing on the outside, especially against like a cover 3. On the outside, it's that about 15 yards downfield, like right to the inside, to be to the right there. That would be kind of the tender area of the field that you could user catch on. Another good spot is in the slots, in the seams against like a cover 3 zone. Very tender. Those are areas of the field that you want to user catch on. You want to kind of avoid posts, things like that, slants. Those aren't really user catch routes to click on and make a play. But
in my opinion, any pass that you're going to throw with inside pass lead to click on and catch, it needs to be outside the numbers. So this James Jones streak, you can't pass lead enough, in my opinion, to plus you're going to get bumped. But same thing with Finley, the pass lead is really only effective on a throw that's outside the numbers, so that you can rubber band back in, because otherwise it's really tough to fit it in. And
trail coverage.
Yeah. So that's something that I do. But in general, that comeback route, you got a lot of different times you can throw it. It's something you really want to mess around with. I've done some good experiments, but I click on for every catch, but the true user catching definition is something that's a little bit different.
It's not yesteryear's user catch. Definitely is. It's not Madden 09 throwing fades out there, clicking on and making plays. Definitely different. Definitely still something you want to add to your repertoire, but it's just, let's start thinking differently what a user catch is.
And Doc wants to know what stats are the best to look for in the comeback routes. Do you want route running, agility, acceleration? Route running is going to help you get a little bit of separation from the defender.
Yes.
When you cut, it's going to give you some space.
Fact.
Agility is going to be, I think that's more for the ball carrier. I think route running kind of does that. Obviously, he needs to have some agility to kind of cut, and you want that based on the defender. I feel like is a little bit more agility based, and also his man coverage rating. I feel like it's going to go up against the route running rating. So Darrelle Revis has 93 route running or man coverage. Wes Welker's got 93 route running. They're going to be pretty even with the separation that cuts give. Whereas if you're going against a guy who's got 73 man coverage but's fast and good agility like Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and Welker has good route running, he's going to get more separation than he would against Revis, even though Revis is a little slower, a little less agile.
Right.
And then the other thing is, acceleration. That's going to help you get a boost off the line. If you race 85 speed Wes Welker against a 93 speed receiver with not the 99 acceleration that Welker has, or like 98, Welker beats him like 20 yards down the field. Like he's ahead of where he is because he accelerated speed off the line, where the other guy is going to slowly catch up to him. Tortoise in the hairstyle basically is how that's going to work. And you can do that in practice mode by just running two streaks next to each other and seeing how fast the guys run. So that's pretty fun.
Good experiment.
So
good lab coat.
One of the guys asking how to get off press in the chat. So we talked about reading defensive coverages, but if you want to get off press, these comeback routes aren't going to get pressed because they don't get pressed. Drags don't get pressed, so Y is not going to get pressed. Tight ends aren't going to get pressed, so Finley's not going to get pressed, so I can streak them, I can slant them, I can zig them, and then the halfback's not, so I'll put him on the option route. So right now we have 5 unbumpable routes out here. So none of these routes can be pressed. So that's how I start by beating press.
Absolutely, and I think maybe they're not going to all get open, but I think that when you get a guy on the field that doesn't have press, it kind of eases your mind. Like, okay, not everyone's going to be pressed. I have time, and I can get a guy open and do some playmakers. Because I think a lot of times if you face a heavy press guy, you kind of sometimes can panic because the pressure might get to you before anyone gets off the press if you get a really good animation. So I think that's a great tip what Farls just gave there. With all those hot routes, you can get all unbumpables. And let's not forget about motion. Motion's a great way to beat press, whether it's a streak, a slant, any hot route. Just put a guy in motion and snap before he sets or before he crosses over the offensive line, and there'll be a free release. Kind of like that. Kind of like old school last year's
a little bit.
I like that.
And somebody had asked also in the forum today, what's the difference between the new fade and the old fade? So the new fade used to look more like Cobb's route without the tail at the top. It just used to kind of look like out and then up. Whereas the new fade is where Jones is on the left right here. You'll note that's pretty much like a streak, but it actually leaks to the outside. And then once you get in the 10-yard line, the fade is still going to go back to the old fade, which you'll see here. I'll put all the receivers on fades. Is going to be like this little ziggy end zone style fade that you can throw from the 10-yard line and in.
Like a little lob ball.
And you can kind of lob it. Hopefully Jordy Nelson will go up and make a play. So he went out for the catch there. So that's the type of difference between the fades. So that is something that you can definitely lab. I like to throw a little bit more bullet pass than the lob. You used to throw the lob in Madden 12. Last year you threw the bullet pass. This year it's a kind of a mix between the two, but it really depends on what you're interested in.
Boom.
Like that. Wow. Pow.
That's why I play with the Packers.
Pow. That's why I lab. That's why I lab, folks. All right, let's take a look here at the next mailbag question.
Then we're about to lock up in the game of the week.
We are. It's almost time for the game of the week. Once again, online team play. Gibbs, me, and QJB from his site against. That was the last one.
All right, so now we're just ready to go.
Perfect timing. Shout out to the tech guy. Give shout out to the new question reader in the chat. Let us know if you like the tech guy reading questions. I love it. I love it.
Pretty good. Kind of good.
It's awesome.
Tech guy coming in hot.
Because you get to see how he reads it, because maybe he doesn't know what a user catch is. But it's fun. All right, here we go. So we're taking on the mole. Once again, a couple more housekeeping notes. You can get the winner's kit right now for 20% off. It's already 30% off, so it's about 50% off right now. If you use the code TWIM, it'll be good till about midnight. So if you're watching this on YouTube tomorrow, sorry, tune in next week live because we're having so much fun in the chat. You can also win a copy of this print guide, which you can get on Amazon or on your iPad via the iBooks. Books, pretty good. You can read them.
Smell good.
I'll put a link in the chat to Good Game Bro where you can sign up. A good site ran by Who Is Do on Twitter.
Yes.
WHOISDO. Dougie. So
Dr. Do.
that's something you want to check out. Basically, what we're going to do is lock up in the game of the week right now. So let's get that going.
Dr. Farls. I need to prescribe you something. What do you need?
I was going to start yelling at you because I know you're not going to feed me the ball on online team.
Am I going to be quarterback? Or are you? I'm going to be quarterback. No.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Fine, I'll be a wide receiver.
I feel like you're a total diva and you're going to be a great wide receiver.
Really? All right, fine. I'll be.
Are you not a diva?
I'm going to tell you right now that QJB is going to be a great halfback.
He's good. I played QJB at Community Day.
Yeah.
He was legit.
Yeah.
I beat him by 3 in overtime. So
all right.
It was a tight game, and I'm looking forward to playing with him on our team. We cannot lose to Wolfman.
We can't lose to Wolfman.
We've never really. All right, if we lose to Wolfman.
If we lose to Wolfman, are we gonna commit to something here like Kaepernick and Russell Wilson? Have you guys seen that challenge, by the way? So Kaepernick and Wilson this Sunday night, they're playing a head-to-head bet that if, say, Kaepernick wins, then Russell Wilson has to shave an eyebrow. Are you gonna shave an eyebrow?
I'm not willing to shave an eyebrow, but you know what I will put on the line for Madden NFL 25?
What?
If we lose to Wolfman, we both, during the first snow of the year.
No.
Yes.
No.
During the first snow of the year, we both have to do backflips into the snow.
All right, fine.
In tank tops.
In our skivvies, yeah, sure.
And tape it, and we'll tape it and play it on TWIM.
If that's a throwback to
You willing to put it online?
Yeah.
We cannot lose to Wolfman.
No.
This is how I know you'll play.
We're not going to lose to Wolfman. We're not going to lose to Wolfman.
All right, TWIM, you saw it here first. We will not put an eyebrow on the line, but we will put a snowstorm backflip into.
Time out. I don't know if I could do a backflip.
It's basically like a crappy somersault.
Okay, I could do a somersault.
You could roll around in the snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to frolic in the snow for snowstorm. I'm willing to put it on the line for Madden 25.
There's no way we lose to Wolfman.
No chance we lose to Wolfman.
There's zero chance we lose to Wolfman.
Because I really don't want to roll in the snow.
Oh, it's Wolfman.
So,
yeah.
We're going to win this game right now.
I'll do a snow angel.
All right, we will be back in 3 minutes to 5 minutes. We're just going to set up the game of the week, and then we're going to be back here to lock up. After our game is done, get in the community and start playing your games because there are prizes coming out on PS3 next week, and back in the Xbox community, we'll give away stuff. All right, guys. See you in a few minutes, just a few minutes here. Stay live. Oh, I'll put it on YouTube.